Hi, welcome to episode 5 of A Guitarist's Guide to Improvising with Knowledge. I'm Greg Studley, author of the book, A Guitarist's Guide to Improvising with Knowledge, and developer of the website, improvisingwithknowledge.com. This episode, we're going to be covering how to use the scales that we've covered thus far for improvising over a major and minor chord progression. Just so you know, all examples and exercises that we're going to cover today are available for download as PDF files on the website. We're going to split this episode into first reviewing the major pentatonic E4 scale and minor pentatonic E1 scale, and then how to use those scales for improvising over major and minor chord progressions. Before going through with this, make sure that you have an understanding of all the notes across the E string. Have an understanding of the major pentatonic E4 scale, the minor pentatonic E1 scale, how to play eighth notes, and are already comfortable improvising over either a minor chord progression or a major chord progression. First, we're going to review the major and minor pentatonic scales that we've already been working with. We're going to start with a review of the major pentatonic E4 scale. The scale looks like this. What we're going to be doing is placing this scale in the position of D major. In doing so, we're going to have our hand in 7th position on the guitar. That makes our 4th finger go to the note D, which is going to be our root. Our exercise is that we're going to be playing the scale as eighth notes. We're first going to play the entire scale starting from the low root, and then we're going to play the entire scale again starting from the highest available root. Both of these will be played with our 4th fingers on our E strings. Now that we've covered the major pentatonic E4 shape, we're going to cover the minor pentatonic E1 shape that can be used for soloing over your minor chords. This one we're going to do in D minor. This is going to put our hand into 10th position on the guitar. Therefore, our 1st finger is playing on the 10th fret, which again is our note D. We're going to be playing this scale very much the same way as we did our major pentatonic scale. We're going to start off from our low root, play the scale all the way through till we're back at our low root, then play the entire scale again starting from our high root. Both of our roots are going to be played with our 1st finger on our E strings. We're now going to move on to how we're going to use these two scales for soloing over a chord progression that contains both major and minor chords. This is the most likely chord progression you're going to find, as most songs will contain a combination of major and minor chords. Our chord progression that we're going to put this over is G minor, C minor, E flat, and then B flat, each chord having a duration of 2 measures. This entire chord progression sits within the key of G minor, but we're not going to just play G minor. Like everything we've done before, we're going to follow the chord progression, therefore moving our pentatonic scales and following the chords. Same 3 steps as we've done in previous episodes. We're going to make sure we know the roots, and therefore our hand position will be accurate. We're then going to apply our scales to each of these positions to make sure we know the available notes to play. Finally, we're going to improvise over the chord progression. Step 1 is our roots. What we're going to do is go through this chord progression 2 times in a row. First time through, we're going to be playing all of our lowest roots. We're going to be found on our low E string. Second time through the chord progression, we're going to be playing our high roots found on the high E string. Because we're playing both major and minor scales, it is very important that you are catching the correct finger for your roots. Be sure that when you're playing minor chords, you're using your 1st finger, and be sure that when you're on major chords, you are using your 4th finger to play your root. Once you've gotten comfortable playing the roots through this chord progression, the next best step is to play the scales. What we'll do is go through this chord progression 2 separate times. First time, we're going to start all of our scales from the lowest root, and the second time we'll go through the chord progression, we're going to play through all of these scales starting from the highest root. One thing to keep in mind is that when you're going from C minor to E flat, your hand position does not have to change at all. This is because these are relative major and minor pentatonic scales. So on the C minor, you'll just be playing in 8th position, playing a minor pentatonic scale. And on the E flat, you'll still be in 8th position, playing the E flat major pentatonic scale. Here is going through the chord progression, starting all of our scales from the low roots. Now we're going to take one more time through the chord progression, playing all of our scales, starting from our high roots. Now that we've established our hand position and we've found out all our available notes to play, I'm going to show you how you can use these chords, these scales, to play through this chord progression. We're going to go through it 2 times in a row. I hope what we've covered in this episode has given you a pretty solid understanding of how you can take major and minor chord progressions and solo over it using just this one pentatonic shape. Please visit the website, improvisingwithknowledge.com. You can download all the exercises and solos that we went over today as PDF files. You can play along with jam tracks to see if you can still take these same 3 steps and apply it over chord progressions. You can also sign up for the newsletter, get information about upcoming episodes, and find out when the book is going to be released. Our next episode, we're going to cover the second major and minor pentatonic shape.